this is SearchMe, which I'm looking at, which is a new startup in the search sector, and it looks a little like the Apple cover flow, but you click on it and it goes to the next one, and then below it you can see it moving. This is a search we did on Safari software, and then, or you could do it this way, and then there's also an element of making it bigger or smaller. This is just regular search results like you'd see on Google or any other search engine, but up here is this cover flow, which you can visually see what you're looking for. It's a new search engine being funded by Sequoia's Mark Fahmy, and trying to out-better Google, which actually isn't very hard on the innovation part. Okay, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Randy Adams. I'm the CEO of SearchMe.
SearchMe, which is being funded by Sequoia.
Absolutely.
And it's a new search thing. That's a big idea to get into, given Google's dominance.
There are a lot of very, very experienced players that do a pretty good job right now. So it's a very competitive market, but it's also a market that generates a lot of revenue. So it's a big market, and there are lots of opportunities there to innovate.
What is your take on it? You're obviously, we were just talking a little bit about innovation and the fact that Google hasn't changed one bit, and maybe it doesn't have to because of its dominance.
Well, I think that when you're making your revenue, and a lot of revenue, 60% of the search market, with a traditional approach of search results, you really don't want to change things because it's working really well for you. But as a small startup, you can do things that are a little more daring because you're not making any revenue to start with.
Right.
You can try things out and see if they work, and if they do, then you can grow a company that way.
Right. So let's talk about why things haven't innovated in search. What's the reason, and then why did you take this approach of giving people a little bit more tactileness, a little bit more visual elements rather than lists, or there's been a lot of filing. I guess Ask had a lot of files and lists and that kind of thing.
Well, people have tried different things. A9 tried a mashup approach. Ask has been innovating, but no one's really tried something radically different. I think because people are just used to seeing search results in a list, and people have been conditioned to look in a list for their answers to the searches. But I think that there's opportunity to just do something completely different now that bandwidth is up, and 75% of American homes have DSL or cable modems. You can do things, and certainly in Asia it's even better. You can do things now with pictures that you couldn't do before.
And your idea is pictures, the idea of...
We think that pictures provide, in many cases, a superior alternative to looking at text. Pictures you can recognize easily. If you have a website you want to go to that you've been to before, you look at a text result, it looks the same as every other text result. But you look at a picture, you say, oh yeah, that's the Wikipedia page I looked at, or oh, that's the blog I looked at, or that's Boomtown, or whatever. You know it, and you recognize it, and with our interface, you can just click on it and go to it instantly.
Exactly. Now, you also put things into categories, too.
Right. We think that it's useful to, our goal is to actually allow the searcher to get to the result with the least amount of effort in the fastest way. And one of the ways we've done that is we've taken and categorized the web. We've sort of sorted it out amongst these categories. And when you type a search request in SearchMe, we suggest categories that you might click on. So, for example, if you're looking for diamondback rattlesnakes, you write in diamondback. You don't have to write rattlesnakes because amphibians and reptiles comes up. You just click on that, and you get pages of diamondback rattlesnakes. If you wanted the Arizona Diamondbacks, you click on the baseball icon. We have icons to suggest categories, and you get the Arizona Diamondbacks homepage.
So what's the great challenge from a technological perspective and getting more pages
One of the
indexed?
things Google's done really, really well is allowed you to get to, in the first 5 results, a relevant page, and they've done a better job at that than anyone else. And that's the real challenge there, is to be able to get you in the first 5 results a really, really good answer to whatever question or whatever navigational query that you're proposing. And that is done through machine learning, and machine learning takes time. You have to train if you do algorithmically, that is, you have to train your search engine to get the right result for almost any kind of search, and that literally takes months or even years to do. We've been doing it for a few months now. We're getting better, but we're not as good as Google yet. But we keep working on it.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah. Now, what about the pictures? You've got to keep refreshing pictures, obviously.
You do keep refreshing pictures. We have over 1 billion pictures in our picture archive that are full-size pictures of web pages. We refresh the ones that change the most frequently. If you don't change your web page for 2 months, we don't refresh it. We have a way of determining that. So if a web changes very frequently...
That puts more onus on you to keep those pages fresh, keep them...
Yes.
Google does not go back and get the pages necessarily. Sometimes they show pages, but not that often.
Right. So when we refresh the page, we also refresh the index and the terms and the
And how are you dealing with video? Video doesn't show itself incorporated?
We're not supporting that media type right now, although we will in the future.
Right, because now a lot of the search engines, they do show video links.
Right, there's a big discussion of whether you integrate the video and the images in news, in with the organic search results, or whether you keep them separate and
What do you think about that?
I think you integrate it, because I think what you really want to do, people don't care necessarily where it came from or what media type it's on if it's more relevant to answer their question.
Right.
I mean, there's a certain sense of authoritativeness in search results, certainly, but by and large, if I'm looking for an answer and it comes in a video or an image or a blog, I want the answer.
And where do you think search is going to be in 10 years? I mean, right now it's pretty Neanderthal as far as I'm concerned.
It's pretty Neanderthal. There's going to be tremendous innovations over the next 10 years. I would think that search in the next 10 years will be much more relevant. I think the relevance scores are 50-60% right now. They're going to be much, much better. There's going to be much higher bandwidth results. There's going to be integration of all the media types. Tons of stuff to do.
Right.
We're excited to be there.
Great. Cool, Randy. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Gary.